Hello, hello, hello. Live again, live again. Here we are. Stream has started. How are we doing, guys? How are we doing? Did you have a great trading day yesterday? I for sure did. We had a small drawdown before that, 4 losing days in a row, and then yesterday we just wiped all those losing days away. And we are actually up after 4 losing days. Imagine. Keep your risk small, and once you get that big winner you add into, it's gonna pay for all of those trades. 7.5 R yesterday. Huge risk reward ratio, amazing trade, and great play overall. So let's see if we can continue, the good trades today. We'll see if we can find a setup. If there's no setup today, then I might do some back testing later. I think that could be very interesting for you guys. I haven't done that before on stream, but I can show you a little bit how I would do it. I'm gonna do it by replay trading this time, and maybe the next time I might even do some type of coding backtesting. We'll see if there's a demand for it. Why not? But let me know in chat if that's something you're interested about. I could have some facts or stats checks or something of that sort. But yeah, we might do some type of backtesting today. I have already an idea of a strategy that I want to backtest into a little bit. So we might do that after the trades, or if there's even any trades today. We'll see. We'll see what type of setups there are in the market. But let's jump right into it, right into the charts here, and let's start with our beloved pre-market preparation. I'll take one sip of coffee more. I was a little bit tired before the stream. I already did a lot of other research before stream for my trading, and I kind of need a coffee break here. I will take one more sip and get that caffeine so we can do this session. All right. What is the market looking like? Let's start with ES. If you have any markets that you want me to look at, be my guest and tell me in chat, because I trade ES, YM, RTY. Those are my main markets. Sometimes I review NQ because there's people who like NQ. But if there's a market that you want me to look at, go ahead and ask. I can always take a look if I have time. So let's start. We are obviously in a range here, as you can see on ES. So we're just balancing out. We're ranging on a daily time frame. This is a TPO. These white profiles are overnight profiles. It shows me what the overnight session has done, and then these colored ones with blue and gray are the RTH profiles. So let's make a pre-market preparation here out of the open. The first thing I'm seeing here is two things. I'm seeing a poor high overall on ES. So a very poor high. You can see a poor high is when two blocks or two letters at the high are matching. So it's not like a clean reaction. You can see this is a good high because there's not, two blocks. It just means that the market spent a lot of time at these highs, so that's not a clean rejection. So usually these levels are like magnets to the market, and the market wants to correct these levels. So we kind of have two magnets to the upside here on ES, which is nice to see. Obviously, we have a double distribution profile here overnight, and we are kind of rejecting to lower prices. We also have old single prints here, which are also magnets. So it's one of those things where there's two questions: is it gonna go up or down? Now it's a little bit conflicting. We're also gapping down, but just by a little bit. We're a little bit below the previous range. So today I might look at a play like this, where we open to the downside, find buyers, and take the previous close. And perfectly, there's also, this is an obvious low volume zone or whatever you like to call it, node, with a lot of, or the market did not spend a lot of time in this area, so it likes to reject or go through this area. So I feel like that's a perfect spot also to exit our trade. And look at this. It perfectly goes together with the previous close of yesterday. So we have a nice target on that trade. So open down and up. That's the opening play we're looking for in ES specifically. After that, we might reject downwards, or then we would look for an extended target to these poor highs and take them out, and then maybe move back down. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. That was the first scenario. Push down, find buyers, take out the previous close and the overnight highs. That's kind of what I'm seeing on ES pre-market. Then let's see if we can find another scenario. Well, another scenario would be that we just open up instantly, take these poor highs and start falling downwards. I think this is a very fine scenario too. I'm not seeing a trade here specifically. It's a much harder trade to catch, but I feel like this is very possible as well. I'm going to trade scenario 1 if the gap is small enough. I still have to make some calculations in my head to see if that's the case when the market opens. I have some specific rules around how big the gap can be, and then some other calculations there as well. I have it on my laptop here on my side, so I'm gonna have a look there if I'm allowed to take that specific setup. But I think we might just be in range for the ES trade here. So opening buy from my words. I'm hoping that the market goes down, we find buyers, and I'm gonna take a long trade with that to the previous close and this, spot where the market has spent less time overnight. Okay, let's look at YM. I hope I can get some more coffee in my system so I can talk better. All right. YM is trading inside of the previous day's range, which is nice. This play is more obvious. Pull down, find some buyers. We have some daily lows here as well. The overnight low. There's gonna be, a lot of support and resistance here. So a very good spot for buyers to come in. And then take the trade into the previous close. That's the play I'm looking for today. There is no other play I'm looking for. But if we would look for another scenario, very possible that we open up to value and then we start coming down and come back to these single prints. This is something very possible here. In YM, we also, the government shutdown is now over and there's gonna come some news tomorrow, I think. So that's gonna open up the market action again with some news that we haven't had in a while. Let's take a look here. We have some comments as well, I see. Hello, I saw your stream on Kick and liked your content. I support streamers in growing their channels, gaining followers. No, thank you. I'm good. Okay, let's take a look on RTY. Always these bots taking or trying to sell something. I am good, thank you very much. I am multi-streaming, so I'm on 2 platforms, and that's why if you're on YouTube and you're not seeing my messages, that's why. Alright, let's take a look here at RTY. We're already taking out these single prints, which are magnets. I don't specifically see a trade on RTY today. I think what is going to happen, we're going to linger down to these single prints, take them out, and maybe move back to value. That's the play I'm seeing. I don't see any other plays, and there's not a specific trade there either. So we're just going to let this one go by. We made some great money yesterday on RTY. So that's fine. Let's let it be. We got the easy setup on RTY. Today our focus is going to be on ES and YM. So, prep done. Good old prep done. Let's take a sip here of our delicious coffee. I'm gonna also have a look on my phone here fast. I got a message from a friend. Alright, back to it again. So we still have 6 minutes if you have any questions before the market opens. let me know. Let's measure the gap size here. So if we are under 0.4%, then I'm taking the trade. And we have a gap of 0.33, so right now it's looking like we might take this specific setup. So this is the level we're looking at, 6846. 6846 is what we are trying to go for here. So if we are above 6846, that means the trade is allowed. If we're below that, no trade on ES. All right, that's some easy math there. Got that out of the way. YM setup looks like it's gonna be amazing today. We're gonna measure that. Yeah, YM setup is quite nice probability based on just statistical edge. We also have a huge move to the upside, so I feel like, you know, buying is great when we come to support. I feel like we could get that move at least back to value, and then we would start falling down, because usually we like to test the previous day's value as well. So that could, you know, be a great setup here on the long side on YM if everything goes right. But hey, we have these 4 highs as well on ES. So if we manage to be at these levels, I feel like it's supporting the play so much. You know, it's increasing our probabilities because we have these 2 magnets above. We could technically, even if we get a great ad, we could have an extended target with just few contracts to make the trade even bigger. And that's kind of my philosophy with trading. You don't have to always win. Lose small, and when you win, make it count. You know, when you get that winning trade that moves in favor, don't let it come back. You have to add into that position. But don't be stupid with the ads. You know, I always wait for 50% in favor first before I start adding. It's not random. You know, you shouldn't start adding from the beginning aggressively, at least in my opinion, because then you're just increasing your risk. But what you should do is play with the money that you already earned. So like if I already earned, let's say, $500 worth in my trade, I can leverage that $500 to make $1,000. You know, it's like you get free leverage. You get more size because of the move that you already got. And this protects your downside because you're not looking at a move that's coming against you again, right? You're trying to play the momentum. And that's why it's great to add that way. You get the benefit of both sides. You're managing risk, and you're telling yourself that, hey, this move might come back, so I might as well add, because otherwise my plan is wrong and this trade idea is wrong. Sometimes you get stopped out. That's totally fine. But when you win big. And that's what I love about it. You win big, and it takes more mental... Yeah, it maybe takes a little bit better like mental capacity, because you have to take these smaller losses sometimes, and you might have to give back some profits. But in the long run, I've noticed it works beautifully. It's the 80-20 rule in life. 20% of your trades pay for 80% of your profits. And there's a great book called Charlie's Almanac. It's Warren Buffett's friend. He's already dead, but he has this great book, and he talks about the rules of the universe and how you should apply it to finances. And I really believe that. You know, you can take these few rules of the universe, life principles, and apply them to trading. And the 80-20 rule, if you can create your trading strategy in like from the 80-20 rule, it's gonna be amazing, right? And that's what I've done. Because I totally agree with the 80-20 rule in pretty much everything. It's called the Pareto principle. If you're interested in it, you can research. But that's also the great thing with trading. You know, even if you're making money, you gain so much more out of it. You start, you know, learning about these principles and rules of life and psychology. So many different things you start researching. Philosophy. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. You know, you just start studying life in general. And I think trading is the study of life secretly. But yeah, 1 minute left. We are barely above the white line here on ES. YM looking like the higher probability one for now, but if we can keep above this line, I still have some edge in it, so I'm gonna take it 100% because I like the magnets above. I like the magnets above, but if we fall below this line, then I'm not taking the trade. YM having some better probabilities today because we're also trading inside of the previous day's range, as we can see here. You can have a fast look on YM. Inside of the previous day's range, we have some support, clear support here and here. So, could be a great trade. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Get some more caffeine in my system. Here we go. We opened above the white line, so we could get technically an ES trade. I'm also watching YM on my other screen. YM just opens straight up from the open to the upside. Very aggressive open from YM. ES is moving to the downside. So YM not even giving us a probability or possibility of entry. Don't get me wrong, it could still move back to the levels we were looking for. And it is kind of rejecting here out of the open. You can see we moved up and now we had a small rejection. So let's see where that ends up. But I'm watching both markets here. Usually if I have to do a tiebreaker, I choose the market I like more. And I have so much experience with ES. It's just stupid to not use that. So I usually like to look at it more than the other ones. Negative delta here at the overnight low. Pushing down, let's look at YM. YM touched the overnight low, or did it? It did not. Not run it. Well, yeah, we're looking for a long trade here on ES if possible, but we really have to see like a clean reaction. Clean reaction, delta still moving to the upside, but you can see a small shift in delta. We're starting to see some buyers coming in. A lot of buyers now stepping in on the plate here. I'm sorry for the coughing. And I'm sorry if you're someone's writing in chat right now, I'm just focusing. If that's the case, I might not notice your message instantly, but I'll be there as soon as I can. Alright, look at this buying coming in here. I might just take this trade if we close above the 9 EMA and we find some good buying, but right now that's not the case yet. It has to properly get some momentum above the 9 EMA and also close above it, because sometimes the market likes to move to the 9 EMA and then it likes to continue the move. It's like the trend is continuing. So I want to see something that disapproves that specific play. And for now, we are seeing a little bit of negative delta here. This specific level, but buyers are stepping in. Let's see if we manage to break above this 9 EMA here. Delta increasing very nicely. Now it's all about, can we hold here? Above these levels. Nice reaction there. I do like this. But I'm not gonna take the entry just yet. I really want to see it continue cleanly. We had a small reaction, but now if we can reclaim, it's gonna be nice. And then we might get some continuation here. We reclaim it and we take an entry. There's the first one. And the first trade of the day. We get the reclaim of the 9 EMA that we were looking for. And now it's just up to the market to continue to the upside if everything goes right. And the market moves instantly in against us after our entry, so we maybe got baited a little bit there. But I still think that the buyers might win here. We had a nice reaction from the buyers, so let's not give it up almost yet. We could easily still reclaim. Alright, there we go, we take a loser. Now we have to wait a little bit. Again, we're still gonna try this trade. And it could work. But unfortunately we have to take a loser there. But again, I always allow myself to take 2 tries on a specific trade that I've planned. And that was the first one. We had a nice reaction out of the overnight low. And I thought we were gonna do it, but we didn't. Should have been a little bit more patient there, I think. I think I have to review that entry, but maybe I should be a little bit more patient. I saw the move and the reclaim that I was looking for, but just a tad bit more patience. But I still follow all my rules, so that's fine. That's totally fine. Now we open to the downside. Of course, when we open to the downside, we get better risk reward, but obviously also the probability goes down a little bit on the specific play. But I don't mind this too much. Also, what I see is here we have a unfinished auction at this level. So if we get a turn here, it's gonna be very good for us. If we get a turn, this unfinished auction makes it a good level to, or a good place to take the trade in, because this is gonna be a magnet, and this magnet is gonna want the price to move up and take out at least this level here. So that's why I like to go long here, specifically if we get a long signal. If we get a long signal, but time will tell. Time will tell. But yeah, opening up with a loser there. A little bit maybe of impatience there. I have to replay that over again after the stream. Probably tomorrow. I usually like to go and look at my clips back, and that's why also streaming is great, because it's like a live trading journal in a way, and I'm talking my thoughts to the viewer. You might not appreciate my thoughts always, but I appreciate them because I can get some insights into what I'm doing. And if I say something and do something else, that's a great way, you know, to call yourself out when you're journaling and when you're going through your trades and your levels and plays. YM also moving back towards the overnight low. Let's see if ES can give us what we want here. The last bit of that coffee wasn't very tasteful. Let's look at the PNF chart here. You can see that we're starting to see some buyers here. We had big negative delta and now buyers are jumping in. So this could be a great level to start looking for buys again. of course, if buyers come in, that doesn't mean that the market is going to turn. It's just meaning that we're going to get a chance to maybe go long at some point. But I wouldn't still take a trade here. I wouldn't still take a trade. We have to wait just a little bit. I still love the target up here. Today is one of those days where you get amazing risk to reward ratio. A little bit like the RTY trade yesterday. Probability wise, it's maybe not the best. But let's say we get an entry from here. It would be almost 40 points. Ooh. That would be a huge winner with an ad. But let's not get ourselves stuck in that. Opening up to the downside quite aggressively. Negative 1k delta. We also get some increase in volume here, I feel like. Usually increase in volume is actually a good thing if you're looking for a long, because when volume increases in a trend, that's usually a bad sign for the trend continuing. Usually I like to see low volume when it's trending, but if you see like a spike in volume, that's usually quite dangerous, at least if the price doesn't follow up, you know. If you get a turn and after high volume, then the momentum might be over. It might continue a little bit after that, but it likes to usually get some type of rejection in these levels. Yeah. But hey, if we don't get the trade today, we might be looking at some back testing here as well. Because why not? Why not? The move's still moving downwards. You can see that we had some buyers here, but the sellers are still in control. But if we do get some moves here, we do have quite big volume here at these levels. So let's see if the move wants to turn. We're still looking for a long, but obviously if this trend continues much further, then it's not the greatest probability anymore. The target is still quite far away. So it would be a mega trade, but probability wise, it's getting into that level where it's probably under 50% the hit rate. I'll just be honest. But when you pair that with, you know, amazing risk to reward ratio, it's still worth taking. Let's look at YM. YM testing the overnight low here. Breaks it by like one tick. And now it's looking to maybe take the previous close there. Let's look at the PNF chart. You can see some delta, green delta here on a bar that's looking to the downside. And now we get a big buyer. Big buyer here. Let's see if this buyer manages to move the market to the upside. 833 lots. Stonks today says Riku8688. Not yet. We took one losing trade here in the open. We tried to go long here at this specific level here, and then we got stopped out here. But we are still looking for another trade here. The same setup that I already tried to plan for in pre-market. Would be a humongous trade if we got that. If YM manages to hold this, it might actually be the better setup. Let's see. You can see a big buy order in YM as well. On both markets, we get a big buy order. Yes, 833 lots. RTY 455 lots. So all markets having this big trade come in. How did Riku Karaoke go? Did you have a long night? I heard you went to the karaoke yesterday, so how was it? How was it, my friend? Let's look at YM here. Delta still in the negative. on these rotations, but I'm seeing a small turn here. I'm still favoring the upside on YM. The ES is already quite far away, so YM would probably be the easier trade to take. Not liking that reaction on YM. I already thought about it a little bit there, but I talked myself out of it. Yes, about the 3 a.m. throat is burning. Throat is burning. So that's kind of a inside joke. Throat. His throat is burning, but sometimes, or I was maybe the one who said it on stream, throat, with my Finnish accent. But yeah, this move is going to the downside. Let's look at the TPO here. We are now at the levels where you can see or expect some buying. We ran the daily lows and the overnight lows. A little bit of buying coming in again, but nothing specifically strong. But great to hear, Riku, that you had a fun night, I think, by the sound of it. By the sound of it. And yeah, if we don't get a setup here, or if we end up losing today quite early, I still have one more try left. I allow myself 2 tries on one setup. So if we take 2 losses in a row, then I'm done with the trades today, but we're still looking for a good one here on all these markets. I mean, this would be a mega trade. But we do have some volatility here today. Let's look at YM here. YM is looking like nice buying here. I'm gonna take the trade here on YM. This is gonna be the shot at the trade. I like it. Instead of taking the ES trade, we're gonna take the YM trade, which is much more higher probability. We are looking like we're gonna break the VWAP now on YM. So we're gonna take the trade. I'm gonna take the trade. If we lose this, then I'm gonna be done. Done with the trades today, but I really like this. It already looked like it wanted to go there. And still trying very hard here. And it's looking quite strong. You can see how they are picking up buyers here all the time. It's wanting to go down from this RTH VWAP. But buyers are coming in. It's holding nicely above the 9 EMA. And then we get a move to the downside when I say that. Which is always funny. But I do still like this trade. It's much more higher probability than the ES one. We have some nice probability. We are inside of the previous day's range. We ran the overnight low, like I said. So we're looking for this trade. I'm looking to add around these areas here. At the highs, if we make a higher high, then I'm adding into the position. Sorry for the cough again. Still, you can see delta is green on these down rotations, so buyers are catching it. So let's play it to the upside. There we go. For the first time, we get a move in favor here. And now, let's see if this works. The entry was quite good. I wouldn't change a lot. A lot there. It at least got a move in favor. That's all we can do. Now it's just up to the market. Up to the market to do its thing or not. A lot of good delta here on this move, but it got rejected still at RTH VWAP. But buyers are nicely picking it up. Every time it drops, buyers are coming in and trying to lift prices up. So that's also a good sign that we still have buyers in here, even if we got a small pullback after it moved in favor. So we're still waiting. We're still waiting for the trade to happen here. Oh, this cough is mean. What is ES doing? ES finding some buyers here as well. But the target is very far away on ES. That's why I wanted to take it on YM. Also, statistically speaking, YM is the more bullish market of the two. So I do like to set up more on YM than I do on ES today. Even if I usually like to take trades more on ES because I know the market better. But this just looked like an obvious one. Obvious one to take. It's still trying to... There's a huge fight here. Now is the bottle bursting? Do we explode to the upside? Or do we flush down again for like the 4th time in a row after it moves in favor? There we go. Let's also adjust this a little bit. I always like to put it one tick below the previous close, just to make sure that we get filled. Do we really flush again down? ES had the much more clean move, if we look at it. But now it's hitting the RTH VWAP as well. While YM is very choppy here at this specific level. It really wanted to move in favor, but now it's coming back. It's flushing down. Let's look at the delta. Still not the most terrible situation here on the delta. But I need to be honest here. I don't like that it rejected so many times of these highs. And then it had like this aggressive push to the downside. But I'm still gonna hold my position there either way. Not liking the look of this too much. We might as well get stopped out here. Still keeping risk quite small. Even if we would get stopped out. And that would be the last trade. Still hoping that it turns here, of course. But right now, I feel like it's not more in favor of my entry. Usually, when you take the entry, you have a little bit of edge there for like the next 5 minutes, but after that it becomes just random, and then it's your big time plan that should play out or not. And specifically, I think now the edge of my entry is done, but I just have to now hope that the big plan plays out, or then I get stopped out, which is totally fine as well. Which is totally fine as well. And we're gonna get stopped out here. Just in a moment, I think. And very close to it. Very close to it. We do have a lot of orders here. It's gonna eat it. Whew. That was close. Already one tick away from our stop loss. Which is very interesting. We barely survived that. It would be crazy if it turns here. Usually it goes the other way, right? But it would be nice if we get on the better side of that move. But that would be quite lucky if that's the case. Still finding some sellers here. And we're out. No? There we are. Alright, we lose that trade. Negative 300. That's alright. Can't win them all. Now I'm a little sad that the ES trade looks like the better one. We would have really gotten a nice entry here from these levels, if you think about it. But obviously, we are so far away from the target, in my opinion, that statistically speaking, if it wants to fill this gap, it's gonna be a humongous move. So I know for a fact that the probability is much higher on YM to fill it rather than ES. So that's why I want to do the switch there. But YM is moving to the downside now. So that's pretty much the play. We take a loss of $323 today. That's alright. Alright. We had a big winning day yesterday. And we are still quite a lot up on this week. Which is great. Alright, let's do some backtesting. I think we could do some backtesting here. Let's make it a little interesting. I'll change my title. And update titles, and let's... So let's try something new here. Let's try something new here. I'll show you guys how I do backtests. I usually do both. So first I start with a general idea, and I like to put it into code and see how it performs. And then after that, I manually backtest. Well, I'm not gonna put anything to code right now. Maybe another stream. If someone's interested in that part of the trading thing, we could do that. But right now, we're gonna do some backtesting on the chart itself. We are done with the trades today. We're just gonna, accept that, okay, we took a losing day. And now we're gonna put that time that we have, because we already are out of the market at this point, to really test out if there's a new strategy that we could start trading. And the strategy I'm thinking about is VWAP fake out. And what that strategy specifically is quite basic. Let's start with the replay tool first, and let's go to a random date. Let's start trading from, let's say, May 1st. Well, May 1st is probably not the best. Let's go from May 5th. Let's start here. And we're gonna keep score of these trade rules first. And the rules have to be very specific, right? Very specific. Now we're setting up replay trading here, and we're gonna do some backtesting, but it's still loading. It's lagging a little bit. Let's try again, and I'm gonna change the time to 4:30 because that's when the market opens in my time. It doesn't probably open in your time if you're from somewhere else than Finland, but if you're from Finland, this is when the market in the New York session opens for me and you if you're from Finland. So we are loading some data here. So first we have to make some ground rules, because if you change your rules when you're backtesting, it's not gonna work, right? You have to make specific rules. So let's come up with the rules first. And obviously I had an idea of what this trade could be. So let's start with simple rules and let's take some commentary in here. Let's put some notes in on the table. So this is gonna be our rules here, just so we remember. Rule 1. Or let's name it rules. And 1 is that we have to... how would I put it into words? That's always a great question. Gap between VWAP and or VWAPs and price. So that's the first criteria. We have to have a proper gap, something like this, a proper gap. All right, that's the first rule. Then the second rule is that gap has to be in the RTH session. Gap has to be in the RTH session. Okay. Gap has to be in the RTH session. Then trade direction with the big trend. So that the idea is that we're going to trade with the big trend. So if the price has been in a downtrend and now it's going back to VWAP and testing it, we have to trade with that specific trend. Okay? So that's the idea here. So we're going to do that. And then for entry only after break of 9 EMA. So this is the play. It's fairly simple. We wait for a VWAP gap. We wait for the price to go back to VWAP, reject VWAP, and close below the 9 EMA. And the trade direction has to be with the great trend. And if you're trading below VWAP, that's the trend. And I have some other ideas of rules that we could add to this. Like, for example, VWAP's direction has to be down before the retest, for example. That could be something, because that or is like a proof of a bigger trend to that direction, that trade direction. What we'll see here. We'll go with these rules first. I'll go ahead and copy paste these as well. So now we start the backtesting procedure. Obviously, we have to put also a target and a target and a stop. So the stop, let's still add that. Actually, I think we need that. We need to put it here. I forgot to put it here. Then stop, previous high or low, and then target. Do we put a static target? I think it's always better probably to put a static target when you're doing these backtests overall. So let's put a static target of at least 2 risk. So if my stop is 15 points, my target is going to be 30 points, and so forth. Double my stop. Obviously, if I would trade this live, I would not do that, and I would look for a target close to 2R that makes sense. But when you're backtesting, you're not trying to make the trade perfect. You're just gonna validate, is this idea gonna make me money in the worst case scenario? And if that's true, then you can take it to live. And then you have to forward test it on live, because it could be that it could be profitable when you're doing the backtest. But when you trade it live, you don't make money. And there could be different things that do that. It could be that there could be a spread that's affecting the trade. Maybe you're just not mentally well enough to trade that strategy. That could be also the case. There could be a lot of things that's affecting how it works. But let's start with this specific idea. So we're waiting for a gap here, and now we're just gonna use the replay tool. And this is the beauty of trading. If you have ideas and you don't have time to trade, or you're doing something else, you lost your trade, for example, like I did today, you can just go in and backtest and get some information. Try to improve your business. Try to find a new business idea for your business, for example. So let's do it. So right now we do not have like a very big gap, so we're still gonna wait. Let's remove this completely, because this is just annoying me, this indicator. All right, right now you can see now we have a proper gap. We have a pretty big gap here, so I would allow this trade. Of course, when you're backtesting, you should be as specific as you can, as I already said. So the best idea would be to have a rule that, okay, how big percentually should the gap be, right, between VWAP and your trade location? But I'm doing this on stream now, so I'm not gonna do and be that specific. I kind of know it by my eye already. But if you're doing this, you should be very, very specific, so you know that you're not lying to yourself what's a big gap and what's not. And here we go. We get a rejection to the downside. Still not getting... And here we close above the 9 EMA. Close above the 9 EMA. Great. So now we can enter, and we're gonna put a buy order in. We are in. We put our stop here. And then we had to pick out a target of 2R. So let's take here. And let's take a PNL target tool here. Let's put our stop right here where our stop is. And then put this to 2R, which would be exactly here. All right. So that would be the trade. Let's see if that trade will win or lose. That trade would win, right? Or wait, what? No? Oh, it should be here. Never mind. Well, we have to redo this. I put the... I didn't move the target. Well, at least we have this tool here that shows us if we would win or not. So we can just fast forward and see what the result would be. Why is it making these bubbles? Didn't take the level yet. Okay, the trade would have won. The trade would have won, but this is bugging out. What is it doing? It's drawing these bubbles, but I don't even have the... Oh, big trades. What? All right, now we got it away. I removed it from here, but somehow it's still on the chart, which is fine. All right, and here you can see we won the trade. It never hit our stop, and it won. So we made 2R, and then we should keep count of that stat. Ron1 Ecole Man. Hello, hello. We are doing a back test here. Ron, welcome to the chat. I was looking at my screen, so I didn't notice you quite instantly. How are you doing, Ron? Hopefully you're doing great. We are back testing here. We took a trading session here. If you were watching and we took 2 losses, we hit our max loss, or well, not max loss, but I allow myself to take max 2 losses in a row, and then after that I'm out from the market. Just one of my risk rules. And now we're just doing an example of how to backtest on replay trading. And we have our rules here, the general idea. Now we won the first trade, so we won 2R. We were risking 1R, and now we can put that up somewhere. And, you know, it doesn't have to be very fancy. You can use whatever you want. So let's have the notepad. How are you doing, Ron, by the way? Great to have you here on the stream. I'm sorry it took a while to notice your message. All right. So now we can keep score. So we made 2R. So we just put a 2 here, right? Very simple. And then we just keep score. So if we would lose the next one, we would take it away and put a 1. Quite easy. Or then you can just put +2 and the next one would be, you know, -1 or whatever number you're having. So this way we can keep the score. Okay, how many trades do we have? And then also what the score is. And this way you're just doing it very fast. I usually take around 20 trades on the back test, and then after that I start validating as well with code, and you know, might even do like a prop challenge to just see if it's working. But we got the first winner. Let's see. Let's take another day. Let's take 1 trade a day here. I really wanna have this on the notepad as well, just so we remember. So now we have it on the notepad here, as you can see. So we can just remove this completely. Like that. And now we'll take another day. Let's take the next day. We have to take another day because apparently there's no data there. And my replay trading is bugging out a little bit. That's totally alright. Alright, let's continue here. We should be on the right one. Let's see where our notepad was. Here we see the rules. So gap between VWAP and price. So we have a gap here, so technically we could take it, but we're also waiting for the RTH setup. The gap has to be in the RTH session. So that's the second rule. Well, if we open and we have a gap, it's technically in the RTH session. Trade direction with the big trend. That's also true. So we are looking for a short trade, right? Because that's the trend. And then entry only after a break of 9 EMA. And then this is our stop rule, high or low after the break of 9 EMA, and the target is always 2R. Obviously, if I'm trading this live, I would not have this very, you know, specific to our target. I would always change the target accordingly, but because we're backtesting, we don't have to be so precise with the target, because no one is targeting always the same amount 2R. That doesn't make sense. You have to target the market, but you can look for targets around the 2R value and take a little bit more profits if possible. Because let's be honest, if there's an obvious target at 4R, why not hold there? You're gonna make the strategy just better by using discretion. But yeah, let's continue with our backtest. We are up 2R right now on the backtest on our first trade. We're looking up for a play to the VWAP here. And let's see if we can get that. All right, we touched the ETH VWAP already. We got the trust there. And here we break down below the 9 EMA. So this gives us a short play again, and then we do the same thing as previously. We take the whatever tool this is, the target tool. We put our stop here, and then we just choose a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Simple, and then we see what happens. And we lose instantly. Okay, that's fine. Gonna look for the next one. So now we take our beloved notepad here, very simple, and then -1. And this is just to track the scores, right? You can also put your trade count somewhere. So trade count 2 right now. So right now, if we would add these together, we would still be up 1R because we won the first one. But obviously you need more trades, at least 20. And then if you have 20 and you have proper edge, then you can start proving it more and more and start going into other years, other market types, whatever you want. But we're just gonna look for the first trade of the day. I'm just gonna validate it like that, and then if we get a positive result, then I can do some more backtests on my free time outside of trading hours. Let's continue to the next day. We got the loser there. That doesn't mean that, hey, the trade could have worked out, but you have to be real with your backtests. And here we go. We should be here. There's no gap right now. So we have to wait for a gap to appear in the RTH session. You remember our rules. Look at this. Gap between VWAP and price. There's no gap right now. It has to be a proper gap. And the gap has to be in the RTH session, which is not the case. Because there's no gap here. Trade direction with the big trend. Well, there's pretty much no trend here. The trend would be down, but there's no gap, so there's not a proper trend. The market is just moving back and forth in a range. And entry only after the break of 9 EMA. And that's the entry rule. And then we have the stop at high or low. And this is our result so far. Okay. Let's go. Let's see if we can get the gap here, a proper one. We're always looking at the ETH VWAP. Alright, now we have a proper gap. So now if price comes back to ETH VWAP, we would look for a short trade. Alright? And you can do this pretty much on any platform you want. TradingView has this as well. I think most people use TradingView. I use Motivewave. Doesn't matter what platform you're using. But this way, you can test strategies without going to the live market. Look at the ETH VWAP. And right now, if we break below the 9 EMA, we would look for a trade. We would go short here, stop here, and target at 2R. Let's put the measure tool again here, or the profit measure tool, or whatever you like to call it. I have no clue what it's called. At the exact spot of our stop, and then 2R. This is a much wider target, but we're looking for at least 2R. And let's see what happens. And you can do this for a whole weekend with a lot of different ideas. I don't know why it took the profits there, because we would have won this anyways. I guess I'm not even gonna put my trades in here because it's somehow taking profits at random places. But we won this trade, so we made it 2R with this strategy right now. So trade count 3, and then 2, and I guess we can even put the live result here. So we had 4R here together. 4R minus 1 makes 3R. So right now the strategy on 3 trades would be up 3R. So we're making 1R per trade. But obviously 3 trades is nothing. You have to have at least 20, and then you can start validating an idea when you get that 20 trades down. But now we're gonna go to another day, and we're just gonna keep doing this. And it can be whatever idea you want, Just come up with an idea and backtest it. It's super simple. And I'm all about educating people, because a lot of people are chasing strategies on YouTube and whatever. And they believe these 90% win rate strategies. First of all, there is none. Every strategy loses or has drawdowns. But this way, you can come up with your own strategy. And it's super simple. It doesn't require a lot of this. You just come up with an idea or a pattern that you see on a daily basis and you test it. Right? Alright, we're up 3R. Let's move on to another day. And you can choose whatever market you want also, which is cool. And my replay trading tool is a little slow again. But this is the correct day. Alright. Well, once you look at that, we have a proper gap. Let's see what the opening gap would look like. Yes, we have a proper gap to ETH VWAP in the RTH session. So let's test it again. The same thing to the ETH VWAP as always. If price moves back down, we're gonna look for a buy for that 2R trade. Alright, we got it there. Let's put the profit target and stop target. You see, we went through ETH VWAP. We came back. So now our stop would be here. And our target would be here. And let's see what happens. And the trade would lose. Alright, now we are 2-2. So trade count, 4 trades, and we have a 50% win rate, right? We can even put the 50% if you want here, or 2-2, or whatever you want. You can make it as simple as you want, so score. You know, that's the beauty, you can put whatever stats you like here. I'm doing this as simply as I can, because I'm on stream, and it would take so much effort to start putting a lot of things while I'm, you know, trying to present how to backtest. But now we are at 2R, so we are 2R, we are still up. We can pretty much lose still 2 trades and be break even, which is cool. Also something, you know, this strategy in itself might not be like super profitable, right? But you can even use your own discretion and statistics to make it even better. So for example here, just based on this specific trade location and the previous close being here, I would not I would not take a long trade here, right? I would not do that. Or wait. Wait. I went short. Did I? Never mind. I'm dumb. I actually took the trade to the wrong location. I'm sorry. I took it to the wrong spot. And this can happen in real trades as well. You might mess up when you're testing a new strategy and do something wrong. But I was looking at the gap to the downside to the ETH VWAP because we opened here. We opened above and we have a gap down, right? So we are trading with the trend. So now I broke a rule. Well, it's good that we are in testing so we can redo this. So obviously we're looking for a long trade, not a short trade. And now just I noticed, so I had to go and fix the scores here. So now we're back at trade count 3 and we are 2-1. But that might change. I'm not sure what's gonna happen here, but we have to try again because I made a mistake. And that's how it goes sometimes. Won't you look at that? And now we're looking for a long trade. Or we would be looking for a long trade, but we made a big gap now. So now we're actually looking for a short trade again. This trade idea is invalidated because we made a big gap to the other side and now the trend is down. Remember our rules. Trade direction with big trend. So now the big trend is downwards, as you can see. So we have to take a short trade. We also made a big gap here. So we're looking for a short trade from ETH VWAP. It always takes a while to get used to the rules when it's a new strategy and something I made up on the spot to just show you guys how to test. But this is something I've been wanting to test as well. I've seen this pattern a little bit in the market. So it's not completely random that I chose this one. So now we're looking at a long trade from the ETH VWAP. I mean short trade. Still not getting it. Okay, here we pierce it. But we didn't quite yet close to the... There we go. Now we get the trade again. Now we get the trade again. And we're gonna try it out. We're gonna go short here from this specific location. Put our stop here. And obviously these entries are perfect. You're never gonna get tick perfect entries when you're in the real market, right? So that could also make the strategy worse or better. So you always have to remember that when you're backtesting, it's not 100% proof of concept, but you're getting some type of edge from it. And then when you're doing your forward testing, when you're trading live on or on a sim account, when you're trading live, or whatever you like to use for forward testing, that's when you kind of find out if the strategy actually works or not. You should never go live money instantly. You know, start with a sim first on live to forward test at least like 20 trades, 30 trades, and go from there. But yeah, let's see what happens. And we get a winner. Won't you look at that? Won't you look at that? 2R. So we added here 5. We're up 5, and the trade count is 3-1. So far so good if you're listening to the rules. But obviously, if we are humans, we make mistakes. Trade count is 4 now. So here, the stats so far, 5 are up on 4 trades, which is surprisingly good. But we have a lot of trades still to take here. We're gonna look at 20 trades. It's gonna take a while. But I feel like you guys are gonna get a lot of value from this. Not necessarily this specific strategy, but you're gonna get a lot of value of how to do this type of backtest, you know? And I'm here to teach people how to properly backtest and how you can find your own edge instead of going on YouTube or you know, whoever you're listening to and use their strategy, because you should just find your own, right? That's gonna be much more reliable, and it's based on a pattern that you're seeing yourself already. So you probably have more knowledge about that than any YouTuber out there. But all right, let's do it again. We're looking for a long trade here. We have a gap to the upside. Let's see what happens. We pierce the ETH VWAP. We don't close above the 9 EMA. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can get a better view of it. We don't close above the 9 EMA yet. That was the rule. Now we do, and now we're looking for a long trade. And again, 2-1. Tighten it up. And target 2R. And let's see what happens. Simple, effective, cool. And this trade would have lost. Okay, so now trade count 5. Let's update the score to 2 losses. And then we take 1R away from it, so we have 4 and -1. Simple, we're keeping score of it, and we're gonna continue doing this. Next day. Next day. Are you guys getting any value from this? Do you like what I'm doing? Is this something you've ever tried before? Let me know. Let me know. So here we're again gapping to the upside. And we're in an uptrend. So we're looking for a long trade. Let's see what happens. Clear gap up. Pull back to the ETH VWAP again, waiting for that one. And there might be a specific instance where this doesn't happen. Why I'm doing it this on replay trading and not just by looking at a chart is because when you're looking at a chart, you can lie with your rules. You know, you can just blatantly think that, okay, now the gap was not big enough and take a winner there. But when you're doing it like this, it's more realistic. Your results are more realistic when you're doing it. It feels more realistic when you don't know the outcome. On this specific session, it haven't hit that yet. I'm gonna speed up a little bit more to see if it ever even goes there. This could be a day where it doesn't even take a trade. And then, if you want to improve the trade, you can come up with more rules, which is great. But if this is something you want to see in the future as well, to see backtesting on the streams, where I'm backtesting real trades that I think that could work out, let me know and I'll do it in the future as well. I felt like I would need more structure on the stream if I'm not taking trades, so this is a good way of creating something. But yeah, I'm trying to get, you know, other things as well where I can teach you some good habits and practices. All right, the market is closed now, so we're not gonna get a trade on this specific session. You can see 23.14 is when the equities market is closed, or the settle is in the futures market. So after this, I'm not gonna take any trades, obviously. So we're gonna go to the next day and leave this day. No trades this specific day with this strategy. And here we go. We wanted a big gap, RTH, and I'm not seeing a big one yet. Now I see a big gap, or a proper one, so we're looking for a long trade here. But now we have a big gap to the downside, so we're gonna look for a short trade. Trade direction changed. Did we actually... We did pierce the ETH VWAP, so technically this is a trade spot. We don't have any rules for this. We pierced it, so we're gonna take a short trade if we close below the 9 EMA, which we didn't yet. We did not close below the 9 EMA. No, we did. We take sell. And again, this is where the entry would be, this is where the stop would be, and this is where the profit target would be at 2R. I'm gonna flatten the trade because that doesn't really matter. And let's see which side we hit first. And it would have been a loss. So 2 losses in a row. Trade count to 6. I'm updating the chart here. You can see 6, and now we are 3 and 3. So we have a 50% win rate, and we are up 3R. So we have a 50% win rate on 6 trades, and we are 3R. Do you get the idea? Let's see if I have something to drink here. Some iced tea. My throat is getting very thirsty. So up 3R on 6 trades. So we're getting closer to it. I'll take this trade to 10 trades, and then I think it's probably enough. But you can even continue with this yourself. You can take this exact strategy with the exact parameters and try it yourself. It's not rocket science. I've never tested this particular one before, but hey, it could work. It's looking like it could maybe have some edge here, just out of the box, but we'll see. 6 trades is a very small sample size. Even in, you know, blackjack or whatever game you're playing in the casino, you can rack up a winning streak even if you don't have edge. Remember that you need more coin flips to know. You need more trades to know if you actually have edge or not. Casinos know that they might lose, you know, even in 10 hands, but in 1,000 hands, they will always come on top, and that's how probabilities work, and that's how you have to think as a trader. So don't take just 6 trades and believe you're profitable. That's the same thing with anything in trading. You know, if you have a good week, that doesn't mean that you're doing something that's great. Technically, you could still be very easily a losing trader and just had a lucky streak. And every trader can find a winning trade. That's not hard. Consistency is hard. Having consistent winning and having the mental ability to actually follow your plan and, you know, do the reviews, do the journaling, the preparations, everything like that that's the hard part. I have a lot of clients, and I always say that strategy will come. Strategy is something everyone will figure out, right? That's something everyone and anyone can figure out. But the mental state of not blowing up, not breaking risk, you know, creating these proper habits in the market where you're just fine with missing out on a move or just fine with taking your losses and leaving for the session, right? You're not gonna get a win every day. So it's fine. It's fine. You might have edge on the day, but you still lost. If you have a 70% win rate on your strategy, it still means that you're gonna lose 30% of the time, but people forget that. Always be prepared for a loss. But let's continue. Enough with that. We don't have a big gap here, so we have to create a big gap. Now we have a big gap to the upside, so we're looking for a long trade. There we go. We break the ETH VWAP, and now we want to see a break above the red 9 EMA here. Let's see. So backtesting is like theory crafting. If you're playing like video games and putting through like trying to figure out your build, this is exactly what it is. And I think this is probably the most fun thing in trading. Trading itself is very boring, you know, you're just waiting for a setup and nothing is happening most of the time. But this is actually fun, and like you can craft your own theories and make your own, you know, predictions. And once you find something, usually you don't find anything that works, but when you find something that really works, it's amazing and it feels so good. You get that dopamine rush from actually making something that, or creating something that actually makes you money, which is amazing. Of course, you have to have these other things in place as well for it to work. But hey, here, long trade. Long trade. Let's take a long trade. Put our thingy here. Stop would be here. 2R again. And here, in real life, I see the previous close line here. So obviously, I would not target this. I would move my target even higher and make even more money. But because these are our backtesting rules, we can't break it, right? But statistically saying, if I was to trade this exact strategy, you can use discretion and you can use your own brain. You don't have to, you know, always go by the same exact specific formula, but you have to make sure that is allowed and you have a specific rule that says, hey, if there's a level close, I can move it to there and there in this specific scenario. You have to always have the rule written somewhere. If you don't have it and you're doing something outside of your rules, you're breaking your rules. You're not, you know, following your strategy. And if you find something, you have to first follow the rules and then change it later. You can't you can't like break rules and then, you know, change it because you thought that was good. You know, it has to make sense. You know, you can't just change something before it's even proven. Remember that. But let's go here again. Let's see what the result would be on this specific trade. And it would be a winner, and see, let's see if my target would have gotten hit here. Just for funsies, you know. Just for funsies, yeah, it would have. So with our discretionary play, we would have made even more money if we just used our own head. But obviously, you would have to make that rule specifically. And in this case, we made 2R, so we're not gonna start cheating. Trade count 7, 4-3, and then we make 2R, so we're back at 5. Okay, looking like there might be some edge here on this strategy. Let's go to the next day, Friday. Also, just doing these 20 trades like in I think we started in May, in one period of the market is also wrong. You have to go and test it on different years, different times of the years, because you can't just assume that the market is staying the same all the time. And that's what a lot of people who first hit profitability notice. They are going to be profitable for like 6 months, maybe even a year, and then they see a change in the market and suddenly their strategy is not making money anymore. So you have to always adapt to new market structures, and right now it's a bull market, so the market has traded very differently from what it did when I started, for example, when it was a bear market. You have to always adapt. Always adapt. But hey, let's continue. There's no gap here, so we have to wait for it. And what I mean by gap is like the difference between the VWAP and the candle bar. I'm just doing it by eye, but it would be very good if you make it more specific, like let's say 10 points. But I think this is just much more faster and I can do it by eye. So I'm just gonna go with that for simplicity's sake. But if I was very serious about this, I would. Alright, we have a proper gap. We're looking for a short trade. And now we would get the trade. We would go short here. Stop here. Target here. Let's see what happens. And we would lose. Okay. No problem. Obviously, we have a stop that's changing a lot, right? So sometimes you could have a situation where you're actually, even if you're up in R, you could be down in money because the stop size is changing all the time because we're looking at the high or low. So if you're doing this for real, this specific one, you should write every loss in dollar amount so it keeps it more realistic. But we're gonna do it in R because it's just more simple and it's easier to show to you guys. This is not about being perfect right now on stream. I just want to do it in a way where I don't have to like start, having my calculator here and, calculating every number. So I just made it more simple. But if you're doing this, 100% you should put your P&L instead. You should look for the P&L. And it's much easier if you just enter with one contract, because then you always know the exact dollar amount in your head, or you can even use your calculator, or depending on your platform, you can use the measure tool or just enter the trade itself to see what P&L amount it would be. So we took a loss here. We actually forgot to put the +2 there, but we updated everything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, exactly. And now we took -1 and we put it to 8 and 4 and 4. So slowly climbing up, but taking a loss here. Let's go to another day. I'm gonna do 2 more. Then you probably have the idea of backtesting down. If you have something you want me to show, or there's something that you're wondering about in the market, like how can I do this, or I've always heard about this but I have no clue what it is, let me know and I could cover it in another stream or the next stream, and I could talk about it after I'm done with trading. I always prioritize my own trading first, and then after that we can cover topics that are interesting for people. But because I only get like 1 to 3 trades a week, usually I have a lot of days where I don't get trades, and then I can put out some content for you guys. But yeah, as you can see, for example, here on ES and YM, if I kept trading into this day and thinking, hey, it's 100% gonna hit my target, and I tried to go long and long again, I would have just lost more money. So me quitting at 2 trades and recognizing, alright, this idea is not working out, let's go away, is saving me from more losses. Because even if I had edge on these trades, it doesn't mean that it has to win, right? And you can see, we were targeting this red line, and it's now going against it. Just remember that. We came back to November. Let's continue from here maybe. We had the wrong time here as well. Let's change the time to 4:30. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2 more Tradios. Banger music here. Now we have a big gap. So we're looking for a short trade. Shorty trade. Now I oh, I'm sorry for the language. Now I realized your name is Ronnie Coleman. Now I realized your name, which is kind of funny. Cool name. How does the meme go again? How does the meme go? What does he always say? He has that catchphrase. I forget it. Yeah, buddy. That's the one. Edit. Opacity. Apply. All right. Now we're looking for a short trade. Hey, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Mr. Ronnie Coleman. And if you're wondering, hey, I can't see Mr. Ronnie Coleman in chat. He's on Kick. I trade on 2 platforms. I stream on 2 platforms, YouTube and Kick. Multi-streaming. And now we would go short here at this specific level. We make a poor high, which means to me that, hey, it's probably gonna run or stop here. So I would never go into a short position here at this specific level, at this specific rotation. But hey, we don't have that rule, so we have to follow it. And then after this, I can go and make the change into my strategy that, hey, don't enter against poor lows or poor highs. And then we might save ourselves from a loss here. But we have to stay consistent with our rules, and we can't change them on the fly. You know, when you're backtesting, you have to just do the same thing over and over again, and then you get ideas how you can make it better, and then you start all over again, right? You can't just randomly change things on the fly. Did it lose? Let's see. I'm not sure if I can see that. It didn't lose yet. Alright. It's the yellow line. If it runs the yellow line, then it's a loss. Let's put it here so we can easily see it. Now it ran it. Now you see it ran it. So it would have been a loss. And again, here I would have saved some money already by just knowing that, hey, it's a poor high. It's probably gonna get ran, right? But because we didn't have that rule, we have to follow our plan here. Change the trade count to 9. Make it 1 loss more. And now we're up 3R. So we are still up even after that. Even if we are 4 or 5, we are still up. And now we could have people who thought when I started and we went like 2-0 or was it 3-0 in the beginning that, hey, this is a profitable strategy. But now you start seeing the reality. We are coming already pretty close to the 50%. We are up below 50% actually. But it's coming together now. The more realistic, the more tries you take, the more realistic the win rate and the PNL will be. But having a negative win rate doesn't mean that you're unprofitable. As you can see here, we have 1 loss more than a win, but we are still up 3 trades. So if our R value is, let's say, $200, we would be up $600. Obviously, our R is changing here. We didn't have a dollar R or anything like that. So PNL is more accurate, but you get the idea. As a trader, you don't have to win always. It's just enough to be right at the right times and make more money when you're winning and just lose small. It's quite simple. Keep your downside low and your upside high, and if you have a statistical edge, combined with that mindset, you're gonna find profitability very quickly, and we're gonna take it to another day. But as you see here, we're gonna take another one. That one lost, and now we are We are below the ETH VWAP, but there is no big gap in the RTH session yet. So we have to continue. But it's loading data, so we have to wait a little bit. Sometimes it's a little bit laggy, this one, so you have to go back and forth and reload it. There we go. No big gap yet. Alright, now there is a proper gap, so we could look for a long trade from the ETH VWAP if it goes there. Did not yet go there. We'll see soon, we'll see soon. And again, if you have any questions or something you want to learn about trading, or there's some issues, if you want to be on stream and get coached, by all means ask me. I usually take a quite hefty sum for coaching, but on stream I'm willing to do it for free, right? I really want to help people to find the right mindset in trading. I hate how trading is right now, where it's all about hype and easy money. No one talks about habits. Everyone's just chasing a false dream. But trading is very boring, and there's no dopamine, or there shouldn't be any dopamine involved. Obviously, there is dopamine involved, and there's a lot of traders on YouTube and other platforms chasing this huge dopamine burst. It's just going short, long, short, long, short, long. It's gambling. It's gambling. Trading done wrong is gambling, and most of the people are gambling. You have to have statistical edge, you have to have proven edge, and then you have to apply it in real time and create rules around it. And then the more you do it, the more you trade the same trade, the much better you're gonna get at it, and just rinse and repeat. You don't have to have 500 strategies. One is enough. If you have one that works and you're good at it, by all means trade that strategy. By all means. All right, let's see here. If we are able to get a trade here, let's just speed it up a little bit. I think this day won't give us a trade. Looks like this one won't give us a trade here. But we'll see, we'll see. We'll test it out. $23.14 is when the market would close, so let's see if we get there. It does an end of day reversal a little bit, not a huge one. Okay, and another one. We still have one day to test here, just for fun. I said we would do 10. I was thinking about 20 first, but then I just figured I might as well just do 10. But if there's someone who wants me to do more of these, I'll do it next time. But for me, I still want to keep the streams proper sized, and then I have some other things to do, obviously, as well outside of stream. So I can't be here for hours upon hours. So again, we had just a small gap out of the open in the RTH session, so we're not going to take that specific setup. There's really no gap yet on either side. We're just moving across the VWAPs. Now there's a big gap to the downside, so we're looking for a short trade. Now let's see if we can get a short trade here. We would take a short here. Enter here in a perfect world. Obviously, if you're taking this trade live, you're not gonna get the perfect entry. And then 2R. This would be our target. Let's see what happens. And we would lose. Alright. So we get to 10. And we take a loser again. And we go 6 here. And 2R. So this is what it would look like after 10 trades. And, you know, we were already at 5R profits, right? We were at 5R profits. And that's where someone would think, hey, this strategy is profitable. But you can't think that way. 10 trades is still very, very little. We need at least 20 where I would like, okay, if you're after 20 trades profitable, then I'm thinking, okay, there might be edge here. And it's a big might. Not sure, but might. But if I'm at a good place after 20 trades, then that allows me to start testing in other years, other times of the year. other market conditions. And that's when I would also start improving the strategy and finding things to change. I would add my specific rules of knowledge into that specific trade. But that's how it works. Still, at this point, at 10 trades, it would be up to R. So it would still be profitable at 10 trades. Not sure how the situation would be at 20 trades, right? That's always a question. No clue. No clue. But hey. That was pretty fun, right? Did you like it? Let me know in chat. Or if you want me to do that in the future, you thought that was cool, interesting, you never thought that you could do something like this. If there's something else you want to see, like statistical edges or TPO or market profile and TPO are the same thing, volume profile, day types, whatever you want to learn about, I'm your guy. I coach a lot of traders and they pay me for coaching, but I'm doing this for free on stream. Damn, giving free value out there. But on this channel, we are not about bullshit. Trading is super hard and there's so many obstacles to go, but you have to build a proper foundation and it's not easy money at all. Realistically, it's going to take years before you find profitability. And that's just the truth. We're not going to hype up 90% win rate strategy, never lose. No. That's not what we're doing here. We are about the truth and the truth only. Proper habits, statistical edges, and just, not about dopamine, not about hype, not about gambling. We want to make a business here, and trading is a business. You're creating a business, your strategy is your business plan, and then your risk management, is your risk management. Then your journaling is your bookkeeping. You have to keep, books of, okay, where are you losing money, where are you winning money, and you can make changes accordingly. It's very methodical. Trading is very, very methodical. And then once you have done it so many times on the same strategy that has proven edge, you start seeing, these small changes that you can make to make it even better. And then it's all about also keeping your mental in check. But once you figure these things out, profitability is there around the corner, and it's beautiful. Any questions? Right now is your chance before I'm closing the stream. You have like 5 minutes time here. I'm gonna sit here for a little while and chill and talk with you guys if there's any people in chat. Otherwise, I'm just saying bye-bye, but still waiting 5 minutes. Before closing the stream, I'm also working on a video on TPOs. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take to create that. It's gonna be a very long video because there's a lot of things to talk about and a lot of terms and structure in TPOs, time, price, opportunity, the tool I use when I'm doing pre-market prep. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you just Justle Trades, I believe it's my YouTube channel. I have to double check actually, which is kind of funny. Or is it just Justle? I believe it's just Justle actually. Yeah, it's just Justle, but the @ is at Justle Trades Futures. Indeed, that's the confusing part about YouTube sometimes. But yeah, I'm gonna give some more content there. I'm gonna do a video on TPO and pre-market prep. That's probably gonna take me a week or two maybe to get out. I might get it sooner, but depends on how much time I have on my hand. Today we took 2 losses and we stopped trading. And let's look at YM. How does YM look like? Let's take a small peek into YM before we quit. Won't you look at that? We were trying to go long. Today's strategy was to go long. That was the play. What would have happened if I tried to go for a second or a third or a fourth or a fifth long? Well, I went for a second, but I meant for third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. I would have lost so much money. It's so simple. 2 losses in a row and walk away. So simple, but it saves me from so much losses. And if you don't have any types of risk management rules in place, well, now's probably the best time to start thinking about your risk management. And it's a hard thing to just say to yourself, hey, I'm going to take a losing day today, because everyone wants a winning day. But let's be realistic. Then you're prioritizing a winning day over being a winning trader. So which one do you want? Do you want one more winning day on your trading journal or your stats? Or do you want to be a winning trader? Which one do you want to more? Do you want to flex on a winning day on YouTube? Or do you want to be a winning trader? I choose this. I'm not sure what you're choosing. You might choose this. I want to flex a little bit. But then you're just a gambler. All right. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. I love this stream. One was a fun session, even if we took some red trades there, but we kept risk very tight. Negative 300. That's fine. We're still up on the week because yesterday we had a mega trade. So tomorrow again, 15 minutes before the open. Today the market is dropping on all cylinders. We didn't run the targets at the highs. We're looking for those poor highs on ES, but we went to the downside, which is technically always possible as well. The plan doesn't always go according to what you did pre-market, and you just have to be fine with that. Realistically speaking, you can't always win. All right, have a great day. Juzzle is out. I hope you have a nice Thursday. We'll see tomorrow, 50 minutes before the open. See ya, guys. Bye-bye. Big kisses. And remember to follow and subscribe. Good stuff.